Stringer, the excitement machine. Will he go up the deck? He does. He wants the goal. He's been watching the Euros. He scores.
Stringer, he's got it. He has put the Bombers back in front.
Picked up by Stringer, one-handed, onto the right boot. Jake Stringer, you absolute superstar. What a goal.
It was wonderful to watch. He's one of the most watchable players in the competition on his day, 29 touches and 4 goals. But it just added to the great mystery. Who is the real Jake Stringer? Will he please stand up? And he seems to have done that in a contract year, Lordo, but it's been a long time coming.
Yeah, and we're talking about this because he's out of contract and he played one of the great individual games you'd ever want to hope for yesterday. Congratulations to him. 29 disposals, 4 goals. The best game he has ever played in his career, but that's his records. That's where it's a tough one to know. You know, he's never finished top 10, the best and fairest, and he's also, coaches' votes, that's what we judge as probably the most valuable votes in the game, and he's also suffered injuries. So his contract he came to Essendon on was 4 times 500. That's what was reported, and they feel that he was on unders, his management. But again, like Jordan De Goey, I'd never have full confidence in paying him another 4 years at 650, 600. So to me, I'd keep it 3 years. I'd make it 5, around that 5 again with incentives. 4 top 5 in a best and fairest. 4 playing 18 plus games a year. He's one of those players that you've got to keep having him on edge and targeting towards something. So as good as yesterday was, I think you just got to hold something. He's not a Darcy Parish and he's not a Zach Merritt that's going to do it for you week after week.
You've listed this Kane as your elephant in the room this week.
Yes, I have, Hutchie, so let's get to it. Yeah, if I was in the negotiations with Jake Stringer whilst we're celebrating that game yesterday, I'd be going to his management and showing him the vision of last year where, self-admittedly, he was 7 kilograms overweight, and you can see, 12 months on the screenshot there. To Lordo's point, you only give the big long-term contracts to the absolute elite, to the absolute professionals. We cannot put past us what and how he presented himself last year, and that was overweight from an athletic point of view, for an athlete's standard. It wasn't good enough.
There were circumstances about that, though. He was in lockdown and he was going through some things.
You're a professional athlete. What you put in your mouth is your choice. There is no excuse to present yourself like that. And I'll cop it from people saying you're fat shaming and those types of things. Absolutely, I'm not. You're a professional athlete who's paid to prepare your body to perform as best you can, and he hasn't been able to do that. Therefore, you can't trust him, to Lordo's point, with a long-term deal where he's paid regardless of how he delivers.
It's interesting. He would be looking for the well-paid contract. I think, he hasn't really had the big payday that his talent perhaps he feels deserves. His life circumstances, he obviously wants to set himself up for after footy, and that's understandable. This is his one good chance to do it. This is his deal.
But why would you leave Essendon? I mean, what Essendon are promising at the moment, I'd back in Essendon. Can I finish my point?
On the flip side of that, they've got to pay Parish first. Have to your point. Yep. And they might look at it, Essendon, and say, you know what, Danaher, Sard and Fantasia, we were bold and brave enough to let them go for picks. If Jake missed earned 700,000 plus and there's a buyer, and chances are there is one out there, then they let him go and they get the best deal they can and they go again on it.
So, to your point, if I was Jake Stringer's manager, it would be incumbent on me to be responsible and say, stay for 100, 200 less and have success at a big football club that seems to be headed towards great things.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think with the soft cap now...
They shouldn't fear losing him, though.
I don't think someone would offer him 700 anyway at another club with the way the cap is now, and you're spending, just on the Bombers, this run-and-gun game style. I know we just spoke about David Teague, but... I don't think it's going to be interesting the next 2 weeks. So they're so dynamic, and I heard Clarkson after the game say we did really well for a period of time stopping this, because that's what you got to do. You got to try and stop this with the Bombers. So Hind, he's been a revelation.
It'd be driving St Kilda crazy.
It would be, and even Sard out, Hind in. So you've probably relieve a $700,000 player for a bloke who was on base payment.
It's a money ball pick of the year.
Yeah, money ball pick, and then this one. So they just couldn't sustain it over the top, and we see that. But the big challenge for Essendon, I still think from a finals perspective, they can see too many points. They've got Melbourne and Geelong in the next 2 weeks. We'll find out just if they're ready to play finals this year in the next fortnight.